am. I'm a licensed esthetician and an educator here with 7E Wellness, and I'm going to be introducing our brand new Kansa Gua Sha microcurrent tool. So it's a beautiful gua sha blade that we have here. It's made out of Kansa. This is an alloy of tin and copper. This has been famously used in Ayurvedic medicine, and it's known for its abilities to heal and balance the skin. This is also an exceptional conductor for microcurrent, and so we're going to be pairing the benefits of gua sha with all of the benefits of microcurrent that you have probably already come to know and love. So today we're going to be using it in order to do a tension release massage. This is great for knots and adhesions in the muscle, areas of tightness where perhaps the fascia need release. We're going to have our gua sha blade in one hand, and then our other point of contact for the electricity is going to be our sticky electrode. Now, there are other options for this second point of contact. You can choose to hold a second gua sha blade in your other hand. You can also have a conductive glove on this opposite hand, as long as there is some point of contact so that the current can travel from one to the other and you can complete the circuit. You'll also notice I'm wearing nitrile gloves. You need nitrile, latex, or vinyl gloves to block the current from going into your hands. That way you can focus it where you want it to be here on the face. You'll notice both of these are attached to my lead wire. Today, I'm going to be doing the gua sha treatment with my MyoLift TriWave, but this is compatible with all of our devices. So you can use that with the QT, the Mini, even the 600, the MD, anything. Now, first, we're going to prep the skin. I have already cleansed my skin. I've applied the Replenish Conductivity Spritzer to get some hydration into the skin. I'm just going to put on a little bit more, and then I'm going to take a hydrating serum. So I have my anti-aging peptide serum right here, and I'm going to apply 2 pumps of that right to the skin. Now, the most important step of prep is to take your conductive gel. So I have the Restore Conductivity Treatment Gel. That's right here, and I've just dispensed it into a glass. So I'm going to take that, and first we're going to work on this side of the face. So I'm going to apply a generous amount of gel here, not only to conduct our current, but to give us some slip while we're working with the blade. And you're going to want to bring that down the neck as well. So you're going to bring that down the neck. Now, where are we going to place our electrode while we're using the blade over here? We're actually going to have it on the opposite side of the neck. So you'll apply a little bit of gel here too. And across. Beautiful. So if you need more slip or you need more conductivity, you can either reach for your spritzer or for a little bit more gel as you're working. So because we're doing tension release, we're going to use our erase, stretch, or long waveform, depending on which device you're using. We are going to start with the intensity on 300. That's how I'll have mine set. If that feels prickly or intense, of course, you'll want to turn it lower than that. This should be comfortable, should not have any kind of zippy or stingy feelings on the skin. So I'm going to place my sticky electrode on one side. Because I'm talking so much, you may see this slip a little bit. So you'll just have to bear with me. Now, I just want to take a second and name all the sides of the blade for our movements. So this convex side, this is our big C. This concave little side is our little c. On top here, where it comes to a point, this is our V. And then where you see it has a dimple in the middle, this is our W. So we're going to start, and we're going to take our little c concave side. We're going to place the blade so that it's flush against the skin. You want your blade to be as flat as possible when we're doing tension release massage, because then you can apply a deeper pressure. If it's just touching the skin like this and you apply a deep pressure, you're likely to injure the skin. So we want to spread that out and really let this material touch the skin as much as possible. So for our first movement, we take that little C edge. You want to brace the neck down by the collarbone. Place this so that it's towards the back, and then stroke upwards. And when you start to get close to the earlobe, once you hit that jaw corner, give a nice little wiggle. Every time you reach the end of a movement, you're going to give a wiggle just like that. So we're going to repeat that upward stroke. You can use a medium to deep pressure. We're going to do that 5 times. So that's 2, 3, and you can see that the tool, it's at about a 20 or 30 degree angle to the skin. I'm keeping about as flat as I can with just one of my fingers sitting right underneath the tip there. So now I'm just looking over, checking my conductivity. The neck is one of the harder spots to get your conductivity bar solid. You may need a little bit more gel or spritzer here. That's also why I do this first, because everything is freshly applied. So I'm just going to do one more, and that will make 5 strokes. Beautiful. So now for our second movement, we're going to take that W edge where we have that dimple in the middle, and you're going to place it so that your jawbone sits right in that dimple. Then you're going to take your hand and brace and slide along that jawline. Just use your opposite hand to help support the skin. You should have plenty of slip here so that you're not pulling. And you should end right in the back of the jaw near the earlobe. You can give that a wiggle. And then we come back. So by hugging that jawbone, one of the divots is right above and one is below. It gives a really nice contouring effect. As you slide along, you may feel little bumps or even little crunchy bits. Those are little fascia or adhesions in the muscle here that you are helping to smooth out. So if you have a lot of tension or you're using a deeper pressure, you want to go nice and slow. If you find that it's really hard for you to maintain conductivity, you can always move your sticky electrode to the same side that you're working on. If that is better for you, you can be a little creative with where you place that sticky. If you were using the gloves, like I mentioned earlier, or the second gua sha blade, either of those would go where my non-dominant hand is right now. And then we wiggle. Beautiful. So we worked on the platysma, we've worked on the edge of the platysma here, and we've started to create some definition. Now we're going to go to our third movement. So I'm going to take a little bit of my Replenish Spritzer. We're going to take now the big C, the convex edge, and we're going to put that on top of the jawline. We're going to brace in that same spot that we had the hand just a minute ago, and now we're going to slide on top of everything. So you're going to be ending in front of the ear. Now And this movement is really good for people that have tightness or TMJ because you're ending right on the masseter in the back of the jaw here. And wiggle. Now, because you're working with a little bit of a deeper pressure when you do this kind of massage, it's normal to see a little bit of pinkness come up. You should not be injuring or actually scraping the skin. It's just a small amount of blood flow that you're stimulating and bringing up to the surface. Now, another thing that you may notice is that your anatomy may be a little bit different than mine. I may be using a side of the tool that is too big or too little for you. You can always use a different edge if that feels more comfortable. This is just my recommendation for what I think will make sense for most people's facial contours. So this movement is great for tension. This is great for tightness of the jaw. If your masseter back here is really tight, you can wiggle all the way through it until you get to the back. Beautiful. So you're going to take now that same big C edge, and we're going to place that underneath the jawline. And we're going to slide to the back again. So we're really sculpting out this jawline. We're helping to break up these tight adhesed areas, but we're also helping to clear out some fluid retention. So I'm just giving myself a little more slip there. This little group of 3 movements that I just went through, really, really good for double chin, for jowls, for people who feel like they have a very puffy or saggy jawline. Beautiful. And you can already see some of that definition. Of course, with time, that will become even more pronounced. So now I'm going to grab my gel and I'm going to apply a little bit more just on the upper cheek in here. We're going to start to work more on and above the masseter, and we're going to work a little on the inner cheek. So now I'm going to take that same big C edge. I'm going to place my hands right on my jawline near the outside to brace. And then that big C edge is going to slide up until I hit the cheekbone, and then I'm going to wiggle. So now we're going upwards on top of that same masseter and buccinator back here that we were just working on. This is another movement that is beautiful for TMJ, or if you're a clencher, or if you grind your teeth. Really, really wonderful. So I'm still keeping this as flush to the skin as I can. My thumb is providing a lot of the pressure, and then my index finger is steering as I slide upwards. So I'm starting at the jawline and then going up until I hit the cheekbone. I have a lot of tension here, so I go slow, little bit of a deeper pressure, and I wiggle through it. If you find also that you have a very wide jawline due to tension in an area like this is the kind of massage that you could implement a couple of times a week to really help reduce that over time. Maybe give yourself a little stretch there. So now we're going to take our little C concave edge, and we're going to use that to scoop the inner cheek. So we're going to start at the jawline, bracing right underneath, and we're going to slide upwards until we hit the apple of the cheek, and then we wiggle. So it's a really nice scoop for the apple of the cheek. This is also helping to release a handful of muscles that pull down on this inner part of the face, including the depressor labii muscle right here. This is also hitting and activating a series of acupressure points that run all along underneath the cheekbone here. So I'm sliding up, scooping that whole cheek, and then giving a nice wiggle into it. And checking my conductivity bar. Beautiful. So that's going to help to release tension around the corner of the mouth and under the cheek here. Hitting those acupressure points is going to release tension all over the face. If you subscribe to face mapping, these acupressure points that we're hitting also have benefits for the body at large and for the mental and spiritual well-being. So now we're going to take this little C concave edge again, and we're going to start next to the mouth, right next to the corner here, and brace. And we're going to slide along the cheek upwards. And we're going to end in the temple over here. So we'll start pretty much in the nasolabial fold, and then we'll slide across and wiggle in the temples. Now, if you find that the little C edge that I'm using is a little too big for you, you can also use the W edge here if that is a better fit. So I'm just going to demonstrate that now. That's what that would look like. Beautiful. So this is the one area where 300 intensity might be a little bit too high. I am going to drop mine down to 175, and I'm going to do some work under the eye, just adding a little more gel. You also will not want to use such a deep pressure here. This area will necessitate still a light pressure. So we're going to take our V, our little pointed tip, and we're going to just touch the inner corner of the eye to brace, gently place and slide, and bring it up. So we're ending now up here in that upper part of the temple. Once you get out here, you can increase the pressure a little bit just for that pressure point. Now these muscles are so delicate, it won't feel like you're doing very much with a light pressure, but you can see already how that releases this eyebrow and it starts to lift up a little bit. Remember that power of microcurrent. This is not just a mechanical massage. This is doing so much more for the skin, and it's going so much deeper. Beautiful. Now, as we're working around the eye and on the forehead, you may notice your conductivity becomes a little more spotty. If that is the case, and it is for me right now, you can take that sticky electrode and you can move it to that side so it's a little bit closer. I'll place it where the masseter and the buccinator are in this outer corner of the jawline so that I can work up here. So I'm just going to do my final movement under the eye now. Beautiful. And that conductivity bar is solid for me again. If you have a lot of tension on the outside of the eye, you can also take that V-tip again, gently brace by placing a finger on the cheekbone and gently stroke upwards. And then you end in the temple and give your wiggle. So you're just stretching that orbicularis oculi upwards, which is directly against the direction of the crow's feet formation that you may be seeing there. So still a light pressure. Okay, beautiful. So I'm going to take a little more of my gel on the brow and on the forehead. Now we're going to take our W edge and we're going to fit this divot right on top of the brow bone. So you're going to place a finger in the center to brace and then slide along that brow ridge and then up into the temple again. So you're ending higher. It's creating a beautiful lift for the brow. This is helping to stretch the corrugator and the orbicularis oculi. This is great for people that hold a lot of tension in here and furrow their brows a lot. Beautiful. So you're going to take that W edge one more time, and you're going to slide it up between the brows. So it's sitting right so that the divot is where the bridge of your nose is, and then you just stroke upwards. This is the only movement where you don't need to end with a wiggle, since we are just stroking the procerus right in here between the eyebrows. So this movement is great for those of you who get horizontal lines in that area along the bridge of the nose. If you get a lot of vertical lines or 11s there, you can do that same movement, but sideways. Just like that. So now our final movement on this side of the face is going to be done with our little C edge. We're going to place that little C so that it starts on the eyebrow. I will actually hold this completely flat to the forehead at this point, and then slide upwards until you hit the hairline and wiggle. So I'm going to start where the tail of the brow is, and then just pull upwards and wiggle. This movement is really good for lines on the forehead and for tension. If you're somebody who tends to emote with your eyebrows a lot, or you already have some expression lines, this is a really good move to focus on. So I've just done the outer edge of the brow. Now I'm going to grab the head of the brow and do the same thing. So now I'm ending towards the center of the hairline. And there are acupressure points that run all the way along here. Everywhere that you are wiggling this tool, we are hitting various acupressure points. So that is also a huge part of the tension release component of this massage. Okay, beautiful. So the eyebrow gives it away. You can definitely see that sits a little bit higher. But I would also point out that there is more definition in here, and there is an overall lifted and also tighter, fuller appearance to the skin on this side. Whereas on this side, everything is sitting a little bit lower now. So I'm going to go in and do the other half, and we're just going to even me out real quick.
Hi, Editing Sam here. Not to worry, I am still on this live, so if you write any questions in the chat, I can still answer them. I just sped this up so it would fit into our little time slot that we have here. So you can see I'm just finishing up the other side of my face with that Myolift Kansa Gua Sha. So otherwise, I wanted to let you guys know there's something really special going on at 7E Wellness right now. It is our Mother's Day sale. So we have exclusive bundles up to 31% off. So a really deep discount. This is one of our best sales of the year. And the Kansa Gua Sha and the Tri-Wave, which I've used here, that is one of the exclusive gift sets. So that one is the Mom's Signature Glow Set. So get that for Mom if you want to make her feel like the most important lady in the world. Or you can get it for yourself too if you're doing some shopping and you want to take advantage of a deal. Either way, I hope you enjoy it. I clearly have enjoyed it quite a bit myself. And otherwise, I hope you have an amazing Mother's Day. I hope you're able to spend some time with your family. And for all the mothers out there, I hope you're feeling as appreciated as you should feel. If you have any questions about the treatment that you saw today, you can always DM us here on Instagram at 7emyolift, or you can send me an email. That's at info@7ewellness.com. So info at 7ewellness.com. Thanks again for tuning in. I hope you have an amazing weekend. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have now as well. Just put those right in the chat.